fun by itself and realistically can't be done in the 60 seconds before a game, but also it has, actually can't use that. Can we use snowballs on the button? We can't, how sad. But yeah, there's a whole secret back rooms behind the lobby that all sorts of people probably wouldn't access. Like, look at this one right here. It is... We're hidden right behind the sign that earlier we might have walked past and not fought anything off, but here we are now, able to sneak out through a little back entrance, making you realize that every map does have some secret stuff behind it. How do we get through here? There's got to be a lever, right? Yeah, I'm guessing there's a lever we activate, and then that will get us out through there. Okay, I think I have to stop nerding out about Easter eggs in a lobby for a 7-year-old minigame, but I absolutely love the attention and the care they put into this thing, and as much as I'd love to go around here playing with all the tiny little details, for now, it just has to... Wait, look at that. For now, it just has to be said that I love the console minigame lobby. Okay, now back to the game. I'm going to show you how Levitate Potions Tumble works. So, ultimately, Tumble was a very much party atmosphere game mode, which is why they could do something as silly as this. Imagine Snowball Tumble with a more limited range, and also the fun little twist that when you throw potions at people, they levitate in the sky. This theoretically allows you to jump above extra layers. It's a lot more work than you'd expect, but ultimately it means that you throw snowballs a lot faster, and the map goes down a lot quicker. It also means that you can theoretically save yourself from falling down, as you can see right here, but yeah, ultimately this is one of the silliest things that requires a lot of weird things to happen. Also, look at just the range you can throw potions at. This is very much an OG console edition thing. On Bedrock, you throw a potion, and you'd be lucky if it made it to this other island over here. Okay, I've worked it out. Look at that. I'm going all the way from the bottom of the map straight up to the top. No one can stop me. Yeah, okay. Look at that. We're both flying around now. But this actually isn't the only Tumble map that exists, so as well as having procedurally generated levels, which were very interesting to play to say the least, there are also some different backgrounds. These are not DLC, they're all free to play, but they only activate at specific times of year, so the odds are you've never actually seen one of these yourself. This is the birthday one, which plays around Minecraft Xbox 360's birthday. I really enjoy this one personally. This is the Halloween one. Can you guess which day of the year this one is available on? And then finally, we have the Festive Arena. This was actually introduced in Title Update 60, which was long after the discontinuation and the ending of updates for other stuff, but it really kind of goes to show you that Tumble was the easiest of the 3 games to support, but it was also definitely the most basic. I mean, it literally launched a month after Battle, and so the fact that it was anything worthwhile at all, let alone bringing life to a minigame from years ago, is a serious testament to the ability of Tumble and the ability of 4J Studios with this minigame to really revitalize these classics. However, their third minigame was far from a classic. Unlike Battle, which was a survival game, and Tumble, which was Spleef, they decided to do something else entirely for the third minigame, which launched a full 9 months after the concept, because March of 2017 is when we first got eyes on Glide.
When it comes to quality,
nothing beats FlexSteel. SKF is the largest FlexSteel dealer in Michigan.
Save on a beautiful selection of FlexSteel sofas, sectionals, leather furniture.
Something I think every player had come up with at some point was the idea of flying around the Elytra and trying to make a challenging course to get around. This was something 4J Studios decided to develop a whole minigame from, and as you can tell from this, they actually have custom blocks. This is the kind of boost thing, which they can use to boost you forward. This is the lifter, and these are the score rings, which can give you bonus points in the score attack game mode. But long story short, they built an entire game mode from scratch around the Elytra, and it looks really fun, right? In fact, it doesn't just look fun, it sounds pretty fun, because that minigame that you heard, and all of the stuff so far, was actually custom made for them by Garrett Coker. That's right, this isn't just a new minigame, a new mix of existing features. They hired the incredibly successful video game composer, Garrett Coker. He's worked on quite a few games since there, but obviously Minecraft is the biggest by sales, and it has to be mentioned that this is all seriously good. Minecraft themselves have even used this to promote all sorts of Minecraft-related things that don't necessarily tie into the minigame, because the music is that darn good. So the music is good, it has has custom programming, and the art and indeed the levels are all made by artists from a local university, which results in something which is a stupendous experience. So that is what Glide looked like by the time of the first trailer, but it actually had been in development for a while longer than that, because they actually wanted to make sure this first map was a great example of how flying could be really fun. We actually have some really early concept art. This is the kind of paper version of the map they tried to build to show how it's actually a little bit of a maze to put these things together. It's not just a map where you can fly around to your heart's content. It very much is an on-rails experience with only a certain number of decisions being made, and that is proved more when you see this more updated version, which is the finish. So as you can see, this has various points along the map, but how it all works topographically, because it all does have to fit within a fairly small world for people to be able to download and play it. But yeah, something that looks like an endless experience, it takes minutes to do your first time, actually fits into it like this. And if I show you my first ever record I set on the map, you might be able to see how it looks when you get everything going precisely as it needs to be. So before we explain exactly how there is even a world record for this, it's not like speedrunning where people keep track of it. The game itself actually did have a leaderboard. It should be worth noting that Glide had a number of very unique elements, like the speedometer here, which is exclusive to Glide, and you can probably understand why. Incredibly useful information to let you know how fast you're going relative to the peak of an elytra. There's also the checkpoints, which can be found around the level, and these will tell you that you've got a checkpoint, so when you die, you'll come back to them. But also, more crucially perhaps, they show you the progress you're making through the level as a whole. Never do you have to feel demotivated that you've got so long to go, because you can see precisely where you are in relation to everyone else, or in the case of a single player run, where you are in relation to the world end. This was actually a very early day one world record, which is something I could measure because the game even had leaderboards so you could track against your friends. In fact, Glide was quite revolutionary because it does something that very few server games really acknowledge, and was the first minigame even to acknowledge that solo mode is something that people would want. To this day, if you want to play, you don't actually need strangers to jump online with you, something that I can prove right now by jumping into a score attack game in solo. That's right, yes, it's not just the time attack, the popular game mode where you try to get to the end as fast as you can, it's also score attack, which is entirely playable solo. So this is a I think I didn't get the points for that, by the way. This is a really fun way of playing Glide, because instead of just trying to go to the end as fast as possible, you have to balance the speed of getting to the end with the number of hoops that you jump through. This means that there are things like, oh, if I'd have got more height, I could have gone up there, but I didn't, so instead I have to go down low. And it actually is a really fun game in working out how many of these rings can be gotten. Again, there are lots of decisions about I can go down or I can go up. It's very hard to do both, but going up gets me this diamond ring, which gives me a lot more points than other ones. I really feel like the score attack was kind of a afterthought in this game mode, but the fact that it works at all. Also, you can see this game mode gives you the kind of ghost skin, which allows you to follow yourself. I think I've ended up in a dead-end circle, meaning I've lost all of those points I just collected, by the way, which I think is... Oh, you actually can get both of them. There we go. So you can develop new routes all the time. But ultimately, this is the beauty of the game, in my opinion, is that even these random little afterthought game modes actually have a surprising amount of fun to them. So now I'm going to go up here, which will allow me to get, as you can see right here, I can go into this diamond. No, I can't. Okay, I'm just flying this way. I'm going to make it through because, it's been so long since I played some Glide. There's one thing about this level in particular that I really want to show you, though, and it's the fact that as well as having rings and as well as having fun boosters and these tight caverns which go into open spaces, there are also shortcuts in this. There's a couple of shortcuts. The most famous one that everyone uses all the time on record runs is going through this right here and then going through this right here. It's surprisingly hard to go through such a narrow space. I don't think I wanted to go through a checkpoint, so let's crash deliberately and show you the other shortcut. This is one of the way lesser known ones, but you can go under the bridge, turn to the left over here, and then boom, you cut through that entire space much faster than the alternative, at least if you're trying to go for rings. I feel like it's a little bit slower for the actual main game, but yeah, isn't it incredible the stuff that you can do in Glide? I think the answer is yes, but this is just one Glide map. I'd say it's the most widely known about one, because it is the one that's available with everyone by default, but there are two other free maps. Temple is the better of the two maps that share that name, and that was made available for free a couple of updates later, alongside the other DLC map, which is Canyon. do like the way that they did this better, because with the battle maps, the free maps were always available, but by slowly releasing them, it felt like people would master each of the free maps, and if they didn't feel like buying the DLC, it felt like you were still getting something for free without feeling entirely pushed on the DLC. Although it does have to be mentioned, something very weird about this is that Minecraft Console Edition was 7 separate platforms. All of those have every single one of the maps that I've mentioned so far for all of the editions of the game, with the one notable exception being the Nintendo Switch. That's right, not the Wii U, that super old console by the time this released. The Nintendo Switch edition of Minecraft has only one DLC map available. It's the Chinese mythology one, and all of the others are noticeably missing. And this is true in 2023, but it was true